Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of the Unquestionably Raw NBA podcast. Once again, I've got a great panel for everybody. We just witnessed a great game between the Philadelphia 76ers and Miami Heat. If you're a Philly fan or you're rooting for them, then it was a great game for you. I'm going to introduce the panel. We're going to be doing this a lot during the playoffs. Coming through, we're going to pick a game. We'll come on afterwards, and that's how we're going to do it. But, as everybody knows, I am the honorary Philadelphia fan. Pete is our Philadelphia fan, but I am I'm the captain of the ship, though, right now. As everybody knows, I'm the captain now. But let's introduce the panel first. DJ Gonzo Star. What's up, Gonzo?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Oh, we are doing outstanding, especially after what we all just witnessed.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to our Philadelphia 76ers expert here, Pete Toll. How's it going, Pete?
Oh, it's going fantastic. Better than I ever thought it could.
Yes, and I got to go to our other guy, someone who was higher on on Ben Simmons before I was. Byron, how's it going?
It's going great, man.
Outstanding. Byron's in good spirits tonight. But Pete, you got a couple of things to tell the audience tonight, and for our list, whoever's gonna watch it on YouTube after we're done live. Go ahead, Pete. I'm gonna let you take it from here.
All right, so as everybody knows, I'm a Sixers fan. I was born in Philadelphia and a lifelong Sixers fan. With that said, everything that's happened, of course, they win the championship 1 year before I was born. And so after that, just kind of being cautiously optimistic throughout the 80s, early 90s, having, Charles Barkley, Moses Malone, all those guys. Going into, the Iverson era, they take game one against, the Lakers and in the 2000 finals and basically get smacked after that, to going through the years of just bad luck, the trust the process years. I didn't really, when we were doing the, predictions yesterday, everybody was kind of higher on Philadelphia, than me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, I want to go for Philly. I want to push, for them to finish strong and get to the finals. But then part of me is like, okay, don't jinx it, don't put them there, and then they get, somehow get beat by Miami in the first round.
In the first round, yeah.
So just kind of looking at the numbers, looking at everything, and this is not because of the win against the Heat. It's more so kind of watching the Raptors game, and what is going to happen once they play the Cavs, because I do think they'll end up beating the Washington Wizards, in 6 games. And so I think when they play the Cavs, just the lack of adjustments overall that Lowry and DeRozan showed, despite this, long tenured, struggle in the playoffs for them, basically has the Cavs beating them in 7 games versus what I originally had with the Raptors advancing all the way to the finals. With that said, then that would put the Cavaliers against the Sixers based on my matchups that I had yesterday. And because I think with Ben Simmons, a healthy Embiid, you've got the outside perimeter shooting of Bellinelli, Covington, Saric, and Ilyasova. Redick, of course. I think in 7 games they could take out the Cavaliers, which would then put them in the finals against the Rockets.
Yes, it is now unanimous, people. The 4 of us now all have Philadelphia in the finals.
If I remember correctly, a couple guys picked the Sixers to win. I cannot go that far. I am going to say that the Rockets still prevail over the Sixers in 6 games.
With Byron on that, then.
But that is the series that I ultimately think will happen. I think.
Nice. Tell him. And you have a change in Coach of the Year.
Well, I'll be honest. I really didn't research that deep Coach of the Year because I knew I was going to end up running late for the show, so I was going to miss the award. So I just kind of did them off the top of my head.
Hey, that's why we're going to you now.
But I'll give Brett Brown. I got to give him more credit than where I had him at 4th. I've got to propel him up to 1st to give him a lot more credit, to go from the horrible season they had 2 years ago to 29 games last year to the strong run that they had throughout the year this year. I'm going to put him up there at 1, Brad Stevens 2, Quinn Snyder 3. I love that Mike D'Antoni has won with Houston and done all of that, but just because of where Philly came from, I will put them first. So I apologize to all fellow Philly fans.
That's fine. No, that's fine. But and last year, think about it. D'Antoni was coach of the year, and they improved this year with talent.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm going to give it to, nobody knew that Ben Simmons was going to be this good this fast.
Except me.
Nobody knew that Redick coming in on that 1 year, massive contract. They were like, there's no way that Redick's going to be able to earn this. Nobody knew that Ilyasova and Bellinelli were going to come to the team later in the year. No. Everybody kind of, wanted to figure out where Fultz was going to fit when he came back. And I think just all of those adjustments, playing without Embiid, some games on back-to-backs, I think all of those adjustments you have to chalk up to Brett Brown. No, I don't think he's the best at in-game adjustments sometimes, so I will keep that negative, portion of my analysis in there. But
he was great tonight, though.
Yeah, that third quarter. I know we're going to talk about it.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. That's
so that's just where I was going to go with that. So.
I had to leave. I had to start off with Pete with that. That's a perfect segue because. We had a ball game tonight, and everybody knows, everybody who watches this, everybody who watches Czar's Sim Hangout and stuff. I get it all the time from people for picking this Philadelphia team. I get it, and I'm okay. I get it. It was crazy for me to say what I did, right? But I know it's just one game, but 130-103. Philadelphia beats Miami tonight. They were down. Was it 4 at halftime? I believe. Was it 60-56, something like that? They were down 4. I believe
yeah.
Was it 60-56? I thought that was the score at halftime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Philly Pete watches probably every game just like I do, and with this Philly team. And I was not worried because I think I have it on my notes here. Do I? Yeah, I have it on my notes. I've got it here. I know it's not very clear, but if I can screenshot, you can see it. It's kind of backwards, but I noticed something in the first half, and I'm going to go to you first here, Pete. But this is the one stat that I noticed. They were down 4. Miami was shooting 48% overall from the field. Philly was just 39%. The threes, they were both shooting well. Miami was 7 of 13. Philly was 7 of 14 in the first half. So that was a wash. But the overall field goal percentage, as I mentioned, and also in the first half, Olynyk was fantastic.
Yeah, him and James Johnson were getting anything they wanted.
Yeah. They had, 15 points for Olynyk, 13 from James Johnson in the first half.
14 and 13.
14
for Olynyk.
Yeah. We'll talk first half right now. What did you see there that was giving Philadelphia some problems there in the first half?
Well, I felt like they weren't closing out on the perimeter. Even Ellington was able to get some shots. With Wade, he was able to do his patented drive and kind of fade and get the little bankers to go in. And so it was just a little bit of, physical adjustment that they had to make there. I think once Bellinelli was able to get in, that perimeter shooting from him kind of helped propel. Robert Covington, was consistent throughout the entire ball game defensively, but I think Ben Simmons kind of, had his moments where he kind of, tried to leap for the passing lanes and kind of missed some chances and stuff to get some transition steals, things like that. So just a little minor things that they had to adjust here and there. So overall, I wasn't too worried. I kind of saw, some panic looking at the camera. Some Philly fans were like, oh, crap, here comes the lead that they're, we may not be able to come back from. But, the European guys that they got,
that's right.
based on buyouts, Ilyasova and Bellinelli, really came in clutch.
Absolutely. Gonzo, I'm coming to you now. We're just going to talk first half right now because we know it was 19-12 Philadelphia, and Miami goes on 25-4 run, something like that. They get up 12, 13 points. What did you see in that first half from Miami that was giving the Sixers some problems?
I think it was possibly the defensive pressure a little bit by Richardson. I think he had a few pretty few defensive possessions I liked, where he got a couple of key steals. Just everybody was just closing out on jump shots a little bit. But I think it's more or less just Philadelphia's. they're a young team. They have veterans on the team, but
Yes.
like most of the stars are young. But I think it was just nerves. I think once they got past the first half and they kind of got settled in, I think that like I say, they took it to a whole nother by Ben Simmons.
We'll get to the second half. I just want to start on the first half. Gonzo, what do you think of Olenek tonight, especially in that first half?
I mean, Kelly Olenek. He was good. I mean, I give him credit. He did more. He did more than what you would expect from a bench player tonight. He played like he was a star.
Yes.
Tonight. I mean, so
absolutely
for the evening. So I mean, I was impressed with his outing tonight.
Absolutely. Byron, I'm coming to you. I know you watched the game tonight.
I did.
What did you see from Miami in the first half? Because we know it was 60-56 Miami in the first half. Are you with Pete, and with the nerves a little bit? But what did you see? Because I know you texted me about Ben Simmons real early in the game.
Right. I mean, there was Miami had some intensity in the first half. And then, as those guys were going to step up and hit shots, and the leadership of Ben Simmons, they just, I don't know, man. It's like they became spectators, man. It was like they were watching him, how great he was, too. It's like you're supposed to defend him. You're supposed to stop him. At first, early in the game, I didn't know. Be honest with you. First half, I'm like, man, what's going on? Let me see what they're going to do.
We're not going to the second half just yet. We're going to get there, Byron.
I know. But Ben Simmons,
don't spoil it.
As a leader, he just has so much control, so much poise. A very intense first half, especially like the first quarter. Pretty intense. Very physical game, too, I might add.
Yeah, they were playing, and they allowed – I thought the refs allowed Miami to play slightly more physical than Philadelphia, which did not surprise me.
Well, there was a lot of grabbing, and then there was a lot of like moving screens. Dwayne Wade was one. It was just blatant that the refs let go.
And they missed some travels too. Covington traveled his ass off on one play, and they just even Charlie sent me a text like, "How did the refs not call that? Are we just gonna let Covington take that many steps?" Right, it is what it is. Yeah. I thought the first half, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't surprised, but I was a little nervous. Philadelphia got up to that 19-12 start. I'm like, oh, here we go. They started out slow in this 16-game win streak going into the playoffs. A few games, Atlanta, Pete probably saw that one a couple games ago. Yeah. They've kind of started out slow. They pick up, okay, they're up 19-12, right? So I'm sitting down. Next thing I know, they're down by they're up 19-12. Now they're down by like 12, and I'm like, wait a second, maybe the moment is too big. But then Ilyasova made some shots, and I thought the key thing, Pete mentioned it with Covington with his defense. He makes a three, starts playing defense, but also the play by Fultz at the last couple minutes of that first quarter was huge.
Oh yeah,
especially defensively.
Oh yeah, and
you can expand on that. Go ahead, Pete.
Well, I feel like because Fultz's shoulder injury, he doesn't shoot threes because obviously, not having, the full strength, he can't stretch the floor to three. So he's worked so much on that kind of in-between game to be able to get like little mini floaters, little hooks, kind of some up and unders, things like that. So that kind of and his speed takes the defense kind of, off guard, and he's able to draw fouls and things like that. And we've seen his free throw shooting vastly improve back to what it was back to the summer league before, whatever trainers or whoever got a hold of him and that shoulder, injury occurred. But I think with Fultz being aggressive, I think he's still young, obviously, but I think just because he's always had that killer instinct of attacking on offense, now putting that effort on defense too, both sides of the ball have really, kind of given them a spark off the bench, whereas when TJ McConnell was in there, you got the heady point guard play. You knew the ball was going to be taken care of with McConnell, but you didn't get the lock in, speed or lock in on defense and then the speed on offense, the ability to kind of finish the way that Fultz does. So I think that helps them there, where I think McConnell can still help them in the series, but just in a different kind of way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think we're going to see I don't think Fultz really has to necessarily score a bunch of buckets for him, but I like his playmaking. You saw it tonight. I think he had 5 assists, maybe 4 assists. in the limited minutes. So he's doing good things, breaking guys down off the dribble, finding shooters. He's very composed out there. I know I texted you in the first half that's the one thing I noticed. He's so composed, and I texted Charlie as well. He couldn't be on with us tonight because he's got a little fundraiser thing he's doing. But he said he's almost like he's playing like a veteran out there.
Mm-hmm. I got to see him live in Atlanta when they played Atlanta. I went to that game, and he just the ability of him on the floor just to kind of find the reads that he does, to be a true rookie who, especially one who hasn't played 90% of the season, it's remarkable. Just kind of, I can see why he was drafted first overall, definitely.
Absolutely. Gonzo, what did you see from Fultz tonight in that first half? Because I don't want to go to the second half. What did you see from Fultz that you liked?
I think Fultz, he can pretty much maintain the pace. I also like the fact that he was able to draw a couple of crucial fouls, because I think he went, if I'm not mistaken, the first time he went to the line, I think he missed one and made one.
Yes, at the end of the first half.
But the fact that he can get to the cup and actually draw fouls, I mean, that's huge for a guy coming off the bench. Got a backup point guard who can maintain the pace that Simmons had, and then he can draw. Even if he's not scoring a lot, shooting wise, but he can still get to the line and make buckets. That's kind of like one of those things I see like with James Harden almost. Like even if he's not having a great shooting night, he can still get fouls and go to the free throw line. That's always a good thing. A good thing, a good skill to have, I guess.
Absolutely, Byron. What did you see from Fultz that you liked tonight?
He was super aggressive on defense.
Yes.
He was blocking shots, and I like him moving forward. It's unfortunate that he had a season where we didn't get to see much of him. He didn't get to see too much Byron. But moving forward, I mean, what better place to learn than the playoffs?
Exactly.
And he's going to be a factor in the success of this team in the years to come when they're contending for championships.
Absolutely. And hold on, let me go to my notes real quick. Because one thing let me see. I think I touched on everything here for the first half. Actually, I'm going to go to this. It was both halves, but I'm going to go to especially in the first. Ilyasova had a much more effective half in the second half. But how about Bellinelli, Pete, in that first half?
Yeah,
I know he was big all game, but he really, because Redick. What happened with Redick early in the game? Why did he come out?
Well, Redick came out, I think, just because of for those that don't know, Redick's about 6'4" and a half,
short arms.
But then his wingspan's only 6'3". So the longer defenders, especially Josh Richardson, you even get Tyler Johnson, who has long arms out there. It's going to make it a little bit different. And then I think that made the biggest difference. And so he kind of had to make adjustments there. And then rolling with Bellinelli with the hot hand, that was a smart move. And then you reinsert JJ in the later for the second half, and obviously he came alive. We're going to talk about that.
Brett Brown took Redick out with about a minute and a half into the game, and I look up, I'm like, wait a second, where's Redick?
Yeah.
He didn't do anything. At first, I was thinking, I wonder if it has to do with the injury, because he sat out sat out that Milwaukee. I'm like, maybe his back's bothering him, but then he was back in there, and But we're going to go to the second half now. And once again, I'm going to you, Pete, because first you mentioned it. I even wrote it, and I told you I wrote it in my notes.
Right.
The adjustment that Brett Brown made at the half.
Yeah.
He brings Amir Johnson off the bench, but he starts Ilyasova. How big was that?
Yeah, it was huge because Ilyasova is able to draw charges. Every year he's in the top of the league and charges drawn. And then you look at, obviously, on the offensive end. Now, Ilyasova doesn't pass the ball. So if he gets it, he's shooting it. But the difference is he tends to make a good bit of them. Obviously from the perimeter, he can also drive and score as well. But for me, looking at the second half, I mean, the Sixers locking defensively. That keeps Miami, very, paint oriented instead of, from the perimeter. And no Hassan Whiteside really in the game, played a total of 12 minutes, 1 for 4, from the floor, 6 rebounds.
He was butt cheeks.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So then you get Kelly Olynyk, who comes in, he can stretch the floor, things like that. But Kelly Olynyk can't play defense.
Nope.
So that opens up the driving lane for Ben Simmons to be able to get whatever he wants. You find J.J. Redick on the perimeter. Covington hit some threes. Fantastic defense. Then you've got Bellinelli hitting threes. It was just a three-point barrage in the second half for the Sixers. And, I don't know what adjustments that, the Heat are going to be able to make, going forward if the Sixers can stay shooting this well. Now, I don't think the Sixers are going to shoot. You're not going to have
shot like 60% from three tonight. That's not going to continue.
Yeah. But if they can keep it around 40 to 44% from three, that's still going to be solid enough to.
And I think that's possible because in this big streak, it's basically the second since the All-Star break, they've basically been one of the top three-point shooting teams in the league percentage-wise and makes. So I don't see any reason they can't keep up the hot shooting.
And the Bellinelli and Ilyasova hitting those 4 3-pointers to basically change the whole tone of the game to start the third. Absolutely. That was a big momentum boost, and then it put them on that 15-0 run. That basically kind of ended the game there. And
absolutely.
I know Alana, she's huge, obviously the Heat person, so I know she's probably feeling sad that this game
steaming
sucked, but
pissed off right now.
Well, I think that Dragic has to make a little bit more adjustments, and then they've got to get more from Tyler Johnson if he's going to play in the backcourt, together, because as much money as Tyler Johnson's being paid to, what did he put up, 9 points, I think it was,
he was not very good. He had a couple threes, but
yeah, they have to get something somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonzo, I'm going to you now, man. What did you think of the adjustment of Brett Brown putting Ilyasova in the starting lineup for Amir Johnson? Did you think that was we saw it was a good. Did you like that move by Brett Brown?
It's smart. It's one of those Steve Kerr, Golden State type of moves, Greg Popovich type of moves. You put a shooter.
That's good you said that, because where did Brett Brown? He's a Popovich disciple.
And that's what he did. He put Ilyasova in, and they removed Hassan Whiteside for, like I said, for the second half, pretty much. And I'm going to tell you something. I noticed too that it's almost like when they made that move, it almost increased their defensive intensity in the second half. Like
it did.
Philadelphia's defense, like seriously, they looked a lot like Golden State tonight.
Yes.
It's real weird, because it's like once they made those adjustments to get Hassan Whiteside, the rim protector, out of the game. It's like, okay, now we can shoot threes and play fast pace, and now we can turn our defensive intensity up. And they went off in the second half. Look, I would have never expect a team of these a group of guys who've only been together playing. Well, you got new acquisitions who only been playing with you for a few months. You got a point guard. You got a rookie point guard who's just been really acclimated into the system this year. You got your all-star center out, and you go and you beat a team that has way more playoff experience than you do right now, and you beat them by 27 points. You couldn't have told me that.
And you were down 4 at the half.
Yeah, there's no way you could have told me they could have done this. And this is why I say that they have enough shooting right now. I don't expect them to shoot 64%, but like Pete said, if they shoot 44%, and once they get Embiid back, it's like the only thing that's holding them back from the NBA Finals will be themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't this is why I don't. I'm not as a lot of their youth, their inexperience. It's because I love their veterans. And even Jared Bayless has been in the playoffs. He's not playing, but he's a voice. He's been there. You've got 5 guys with good playoff experience, 2 guys who've been to the finals, 1 guy who's won a championship. That's what really I think. And Greg, I've said it. I saw Greg Smith. He's in the chat with us tonight. I saw it on Twitter. He said he loves this mix of youth and the veteran leaders and the veterans on this team. What do you say, Pete?
You got to look at the combination of Bellinelli with his hot shooting and Ilyasova, just his defensive presence with the perimeter shooting together. Then you have Amir Johnson, who's got good experience. Across the board, I think that mix is a unique mix. And for me, whether it's the Eagles in the Super Bowl, I was cautiously optimistic with that, and they won. to now with the Sixers in the playoffs. I mean, I would obviously everybody can look at the stats and see that Miami's a better defensive team than the Cavaliers. If the Sixers can keep up their hot shooting on offense and then just lock in, defensively and not make those fourth quarter mistakes that they made early in the year due to that lack of experience, I think they're, a lock at least for the Eastern Conference Finals. No, whether they get past the Cavaliers, that's remained to be seen. But the Cavaliers' defense has been so bad this year and so many miscues that it wouldn't be
only slightly better defense from the Cavs. They're only slightly better than the Suns.
Right. And so, so many miscues come playoff time, LeBron James isn't going to be able to save them, entirely if you have Embiid engaged, on both ends of the floor, as well as Simmons controlling the ball the way he does. Now, if for some reason the Sixers go away from what they're normally doing and go back to those fourth quarter miscues and don't shoot, say they shoot 34% from the perimeter, then they're going to have a tough time. So, hopefully they can, carry it through and make it, easily to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Absolutely. Byron, I'm coming to you now. Because what did you see in the second half? Obviously, we saw Ilyasova started over Amir Johnson. What did you see in the second half that impressed you with the Sixer team outscoring Miami by 31 points in the second half? Byron's gone. He's gone silent. I hope he didn't fall asleep.
No,
I guess I'll take. Oh, there he is. There he is.
I got the game on too. I'm sorry.
Okay, he's watching his Portland New Orleans game. It is on. We're gonna wrap this up soon because I know we got that other game.
Repeat the question for me, Matthew.
I was gonna say, what did you see in the second half that impressed you from Philly? Because they outscored Miami by 31 points in the second half.
Oh, they definitely turned up the heat, but I don't want to talk about what impressed me by so much Philly in the second half.
Okay,
but they just got disrespectful with the shot selection. But who impressed me was Olenek, man. Wow, that guy. Without him, it would have been.
Hold up, Byron. We got a special guest. We got something special. Mike Skills, what's up?
What's happening, Caps? What's happening, folks?
yes, I had to
Skills.
Hey, I'm gonna come to you in a second, Mike, but I'm gonna let Byron finish this up about Kelly Olynyk.
I just thought, man, if he wasn't playing like he was playing, they would have been blown out by 30. I definitely think he's.
And what if they almost got blown out by 30?
Yeah, they
by 27.
By 27.
It would have been 40. Yeah, I'm sorry. It would have been like 40.
Sorry, everybody.
That's all right, Byron. Byron's the casual NBA fan out of the group.
This is what happens when
Byron.
Oh
no,
he makes us. Hey, you know what though? Hey, no, we can't knock Byron because last year he called when we did our player rankings going into the 16-17 season. We all laughed at Byron. He had Kyle Lowry number 11, and Kyle Lowry was probably a top 10 player that season. So
we left it because that should have been obvious. Like one thing I know is talent. I told you. Ben Simmons was a second coming of Magic. I saw 2 summer games, and I knew it. I was like, "Oh no, he's a problem." And they're lucky he didn't play last year. They better be glad he didn't play last year.
Well, too bad Kyle Lowry only scored 11 points in this game. So
yeah, he was once again. Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan were their typical playoff selves. So we don't have to talk about that.
But if you watch that game today, Lowry was hitting some big shots, and he was leading. Late in the fourth quarter because
he hit 4 shots. He didn't do anything.
No, but I'm saying, okay, he had a big three down the stretch.
Ibaka in the second half. Ibaka is the one that helped him in the second half.
Lowry did play some good defense.
I want to tell you something. Like I said the other day when we had the podcast, I said one thing about DeRozan and Lowry. I've seen a better 2-piece combo at Popeyes, and I'm gonna tell you something. The The good thing about the Popeyes 2-piece is it's at least hot and spicy because DeMar DeRozan and Lowry are mild in the playoffs.
Oh man.
Hey,
No,
yeah,
but
I
I
tried to
mean,
give them benefit of the doubt
you
this
saw-
year, but
but I mean, okay,
today
look,
was bad.
they weren't playing like honestly. My mother and I were watching that game. Washington should have won that game. After seeing that game, I'm really not a believer in them anymore. I'm not because it should not have been that close. They'll fall if they make it out the first round. They're gonna fall in the second round, man.
You know,
I'm telling you.
Hey,
you know the
Mike,
thing that's interesting about that series? They are the same teams. Like in the sense of both teams have stars that a lot of people say are overrated, underrated, and they don't play to their potential. Both of those teams should have been top 4 this year. Obviously, Raptors did it, but it's like these teams have no identity. Like they look way better on paper than they actually are when you see them.
And for me, looking at Toronto, like yes, DeLon Wright had 18 off the bench, CJ Miles had 12, but you really didn't get the mix that you normally would have gotten because you played Lowry 37 minutes. He only had 11 points. You know, they didn't really go to Valanciunas all that often. That's what they normally do. They never really feature Valanciunas. And if they
played 23 minutes tonight?
22. And if they capitalized on Valanciunas, he would have eaten Gortat, for lunch. Mm-hmm. And then you flip over to Washington. They played Beal 41 minutes, John Wall 39 minutes, 37 minutes for Markieff Morris. You're going back to no bench. You played Mike Scott for 26 minutes, and the rest of the bench really didn't produce anything. So if Washington can get something out of the bench, out of Kelly Oubre or Jan Mahinmi or Satoransky, then they have Toronto beat essentially.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Yeah. This is the problem I have with the Wizards too, though. And this is the John Wall effect. Let's throw away the 23 points and the 15 assists.
Here it comes.
One thing about John Wall, and I've said this, if you notice during that stretch where they didn't have John Wall and Satoransky was playing in point guard position, I'm not saying Satoransky is a better athlete, but these are areas where he's better at. First of all, he's 6'7". He's tall.
Right.
He's a better three-point shooter. See, when you got a guy like John Wall, you can kind of sag off and kind of help in the other areas just a little bit because he can't shoot. And the result of that is, look, he's 5 for 20 today, 6 for 20 today. That's not a good shooting percentage.
Right.
You leave Satoransky open, he's probably going to knock those down. There's no reason Satoransky should only be playing 12 minutes.
Right, and then with Wall, like if he drives, they collapse on him. It forces him to make adjustments, and he doesn't score well around the rim.
He was making a lot of Russell Westbrook type plays tonight.
Well, and we see what happens when Westbrook tries to win at the end of games. It's Westbrick. So
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I'm going to go back to Philadelphia now, real quick. I'm going to go to you. I'm coming to you in just a second, Mike. But I want to say a couple things. What I know, the big thing I know is, Gonzo, he touched on a lot of things we saw in the second half. But you know what I saw defensively from them? And Hubie Brown mentioned it. They did a great job. Like, Miami's getting some easy buckets down low in that first half. Every time it was down low, there were 2 Philadelphia players on that Miami guy. They really closed in on the defense down low, and I love that. They were closing out on the three-point shooters much better. You saw Simmons getting out there, Covington, Redick contesting shots. They just did a fantastic job defensively. But I'm coming to you, Mike. We didn't get a chance. You jumped on late. And I know you called me earlier today. You left me the message, so I had to bring you on. Because yesterday, Mike, maybe it was yesterday or the day before, Mike thought I was nuts because I told him I had Philly in the finals. Now, Mike is kind of on my side. He doesn't think I'm as crazy. What did you see tonight, Mike?
I'll say this. It all came together because of the way the bracket is working out.
That's true. Yes.
That's what I said.
Philly is in a perfect position where they will have to play. If they're going to sweep Miami. Miami may get one win in South Beach. That's max.
So what? We're gonna get a gentleman's sweep.
We're gonna get a gentleman's sweep, but then we're gonna go into Boston, Milwaukee, who honestly, who cares who wins that series? Because it's like Boston's season was gone as soon as Hayward went out. Kyrie's gone for the year, and then you have Giannis and a team of guys who can't decide who they want to be on a given day. Now back to Philly. Philly, that's the thing that really impressed me about Philly today. The way they made corrections in game. I see a lot of teams all the time. They get beat over and over on the same play, and they don't make the corrections. And then down the stretch, those same plays haunt them. It seemed like the way they closed the quarters in this game, it showed me a lot about them. And then how they came out in the second half. When they went on that huge run, I think it was like 20-2 run in the third quarter. That was keyed by their defense. Even when they had turnovers, or Miami was playing the passing lane early, they were running back on defense. Like when Covington ran back off the steal I forget the guy who picked Simmons' pockets. Covington runs back, blocks the guy, and then he contests the next guy and gets the foul. That really set the tone for me in saying, wow, this is not just a young team. Like, these guys are playing defense. These guys are hungry. Like, you see a lot of good young teams kind of rise quickly, and they kind of rely on, their streaky offense and getting hot. But no, these guys rolled up the sleeves. They got in the paint. They boxed out. They got rebounds. They closed out on shots. Even shots that Miami hit, they were contested. And it's like, if you hit a contested shot, I can live with that. I can't live with you getting easy layups and, barbecue chicken buckets. And I thought that was completely the difference. I thought Miami came out strong. They came out like, yeah, these kids are young. They never been here before. We good. We got this. And every time Miami made a run, Philly answered it and then some. And,
thank you.
And it was very impressive. You don't see this a lot in pro sports. You don't see the young team rise to the occasion and play on both sides, and they did that today.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
The most impressive win I saw.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that because, and I texted you earlier, Pete. Remember when I said Miami went on the huge run, and Philly was able to bounce back from it because that could have been an opportunity. Young team, the inexperienced, they don't know what to do. They could have easily just folded and died and got blown out.
Yeah, I mean they held Miami to 26% shooting in the third quarter, so that was a huge difference maker. Yes. But I think holding Goran Dragic in check, and then you got nothing out of Josh Richardson. I thought that this was Richardson's time to shine, especially with so many eyes on him as far as, being, basically replacing Justice Winslow as the starting small forward. This was his chance, and he did nothing in this game.
No. And he didn't hold Ben Simmons in check at all because we saw what was Ben Simmons, 17, 14, and 9 tonight? Yeah. He did whatever he wanted out there.
If the game wasn't a blowout, then Simmons would have got that 10th rebound, it would have been a triple-double.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and see that I want to go to that right now because all this talk of Ben Simmons is ready for the big time games, and you know what was else impressive? 7 of 10 from the foul line. How about that, Pete?
Yeah, and that's huge. If he can knock those down, then of course you got JJ Redick was 8 for 8. He's reliable. So that's the thing. If you can win the free throw games, and then when Embiid comes back, if the one thing I want to see from him is, especially if the game's close down the stretch, take your time. You just have to force it. And because that's oftentimes he tries to put the weight on his shoulders and rushes through oh man, I got this, and his mind is 2 steps ahead of his body.
He gets out of control.
Right. And so, I think they'll be okay. I don't think they're going to have Embiid for game 2, but I think by game 3 he'll be locked in.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to stay with you here for this, Pete, because I texted you about this. I honestly, I think Philadelphia could sweep even if Embiid doesn't play. I think it's still sweep.
Yeah,
I think they sit Embiid until they lose. I think they sit Embiid until Miami gets a win.
I think Miami's either going to take game 2 or 3, and that's the only one they're going to get, and it's going to be close even then. It's going to come down to the fourth quarter, and something's going to happen, like a buzzer beater or something to that effect.
Something crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with that. I feel like Miami is going to have to play a really great game, going to have to get some crazy performances, a throwback performance out of Wade,
Exactly.
career-making performance out of Gordon Dragic. Because he's been in the league, but I don't think
he was on that Phoenix Conference Final team in 2010 against the Lakers.
I mean, with Dragic, I think they're able to lock in because he can shoot the three, but he's going to try to get to the rim. And I think they took that away. And I think the size of Philly, as far as Covington and Simmons just kind of being in there, kind of made a difference. So it kind of threw off his shot a little bit. And then having Tyler Johnson there, if Johnson's not able to either get an athletic dunk, kind of boost himself there, and then knock down some threes, you're not really going to see a ton from him. And that's kind of what you saw here.
Yeah,
exactly. And he wasn't trying, like, he had Redick on him. And he can beat Redick off the dribble. You know, he's more athletic than Redick, but he wasn't doing that. I'm with you there. I'm going to go to you, Gonzo. With Embiid, when do you think Embiid comes back? Do you think they wait until they lose a game to bring him back in this series?
I mean, that's a smart thing to do. I mean, they've shown tonight that they can handle themselves in this series without Embiid. They can make the proper adjustments. There's no rush to get him back this series because, I mean, like I said, look, I mean, you didn't have Embiid. You were down 4 points in the first half, and you ended up winning by 27 points. It's not really a cry for help right now. It's like, man, let him heal. Let him heal, you know, and if you lose a game, and I wouldn't even rush putting Embiid back in if they lose a game. Like maybe if they lose this next game in Philly, then I would probably consider Embiid. But if they go back to Miami and they win one in Miami, no, I'm not bringing Embiid back. They're at home. They're supposed to win one.
I would bring him back maybe game 3 or 4 just so he can get a couple games under his belt before the second round. Because I think they'll be able to handle Milwaukee because they're just so disorganized and out of control. But if they have to match up with Boston, they're going to be Boston to be well coached. I think you'll need Embiid, and you want him to have a couple games under his belt, just to get back into it. You can't just miss a month and then come back and expect to be the best player in the league. I'm not saying he's the best player in the league, but he's arguably a top 10 guy now, best big guy in the league. You can't expect that game one, so I think you want to give him a couple games. So I maybe would bring him back game 3 if they're up 2-0. Bring him back game 4 for the closeout if it's a sweep, or if they lose game 3, I say bring him back game 4. Well, what say you, Pete?
I say game 3 for me, just because I want him in a good rhythm for if they play Boston. Especially going against Horford, who many don't consider, being the defender he is, even though I think he's a really good defender. I just feel like if they play Milwaukee, then they have Middleton, who can help, Bledsoe, who can help, and Brogdon kind of coming off the bench. Obviously, Giannis, but I don't think it's enough to be able to get past Philly. So I think Boston's a better matchup as far as
definitely,
being competitive against Philly. But I'm kind of looking past that second round matchup, and I know it's probably not the best thing to do.
No, look past it. Look past it. That's
but still, any team can beat any team.
Go ahead. Come to the dark side, Pete. Do it.
And then they play the Cavs. That's where the adjustments are going to have to be made because, we all know LeBron, Kevin Love, they show up. And if J.R. Smith gets hot a game or two, George Hill somehow shows up, for more than 1 out of 4 games, then, it could be a good matchup. And don't forget about Rodney Hood, too, off the bench. He can help there. But, we'll see. I think game 3, he comes back.
Game 3, nice. Okay, that's outstanding stuff, guys. I think that's gonna wrap us up for tonight. This is real. The Warriors game was a blowout. Nothing to talk about there. The Spurs are no threats to anybody. They're bums right now. They don't have Kawhi Leonard. The Raptors game, we touched on it just a little bit. Obviously the Pelicans are on now.
It's 45 one to watch. It's awful.
It's 45-36 Portland. So. I believe it was Gonzo and myself who did pick the Pelicans to win this.
All right, so CJ McCollum is 0 for 6 from the floor. God. Damian Lillard is 1 for 9. They have combined 3 points.
1 for 16.
Yeah, I mean that's just. I mean their leading scorer is Evan Turner with 9 points. So
Oh God.
and Anthony Davis and Drew Holiday have 17 and 15 respectively. I think Anthony Davis could average a good 35 for this series easily.
Oh yeah.
So Pete, are you kind of coming to the Gonzo on my side with?
I'm still picking Portland to beat them in 7.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my prediction, and I'm sticking with it. I think Portland wins in 7. I mean, I feel like these two teams are very similar in the sense of they both have a clear identity as far as their superstar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who the face of the franchise is. They're both they're both underdogs or underrated, but at the same time, sometimes people feel like they're overrated because it's like, oh, what are they doing? It's like, look what they have around them, injuries and whatnot. Right. I feel like they're both going to have great series. Right now, Damian Lillard is playing like Kyle Lowry, so but we know Dame is big time.
Don't say that.
We know Dame is big time. Yeah, so even
he's actually had
the second half.
Damian Lillard has actually hit big shots in the playoffs.
Exactly, and it's the thing where he shows up in big games. So
right.
I'm confident in him. Like everybody has a bad game in a playoff.
Yes.
But when you have a track record like his, you're not as worried as like a Lowry and DeRozan type performance they had today.
Did y'all see that little thing on Twitter today? Someone posted a comment, Lowry, and you know the Homer Simpson thing where he walks back into the shrubs.
I retweeted it. Yeah, I retweeted it.
Yeah, I retweeted it too. They were talking about Lowry and DeRozan in playoff time. Oh man.
Yeah, but that's what they do every year, man. And I think if Toronto really wants to believe their own hype, they need to come out and blow the Wizards out the next.
You know what they got?
They need to change their scheme.
And don't let Drake be at courtside, right?
Shit, man, the way they looking, they might have to give him a uniform.
I was gonna say I'm not gonna hate him. I like Drake, man. I think he's a good dude as far as that. People call him like a douchebag and all that stuff, but like a lot of stuff that he does for to help communities and stuff like that. I respect him for that. And, he is from Canada, he was on Degrassi and all that stuff. Like, so I'll give him, hey, everybody has a fan base. Hey, Philly had Allen Iverson and LaShawn McCoy at the game tonight, so I'm not going to hate on him.
Hey, we want AI there, man. We like AI.
Yeah, too bad. I wish, God rest, Moses Malone. I wish he was still alive because he would have been the perfect dude to have there, chairman of the board. So,
Dr. J.
Yeah, Dr. J. Dr. J is a little arrogant to me. He's a little grumpy when it comes to, as far as the dunk contest and all that stuff. Like, he's a little grumpy.
Fair enough. I think that's gonna wrap us up tonight. We're not gonna be on tomorrow because I'm gonna be. Like, I'll be here for games. I'll be able to watch the Rockets game and all that, but I'm going into the suburbs tomorrow, and I'm going to do a lot of driving back and forth, so I'm going to be tired.
You're just making excuses to not have a podcast tomorrow. It's all right.
No, we'll be back. We're definitely going to be back Monday because, game 2 is Monday, Philadelphia, Miami. So, after that game, we will be live.
Now, that one, I don't know if I'll be able to make that one, though. It just all depends because it's harder during the week for me, obviously with my son and his bedtime and stuff, and being the age he is at 16 months, he's very clingy to want both of us there to get him to sleep and all that stuff. So,
family first, my man. Family first.
Yeah, luckily we went to bed about 40 minutes before we went on live. So I was like,
Pete was ready to go.
Yeah, that's fair. So, but if I can make it, I will. It just all depends on on his bedtime and everything. But I'll let you know.
Byron popped off. Maybe his connection went bad. I don't know. He maybe got mad. I don't know. I'm sure Byron will come on. We'll see. Hopefully Mike can make it again.
Yes, sir. I'll gladly like to come back.
Oh yeah. We got to watch these games.
We need to do as much as possible, Mike, man.
That's the plan.
Obviously, we know each other off air. You're a great dude, but your insight, I love hearing your insight on stuff, man.
Yes.
He's very, very, very knowledgeable with stuff.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And we know Byron's going to bring the comedy.
Oh, yes. Everybody got to bring that. you know, it's a full team. You know, everybody plays their role.
Right.
That's right. And Gonzo's gonna come with the conspiracy theories, right, Gonzo?
Hey, he got the jokes too. Hey, he's got the underrated jokes though. So you guys.
Yes,
like,
I know Gonzo's got the joke. Hey, but see, here's the difference though. See, Byron will make a joke trying to make a joke.
Right.
Gonzo's serious and it's
he
funny
just
as
speaks
hell.
the truth.
Yeah, it's funny.
Playing DeRozan and Kyle Lowry to chicken.
Two-piece combo.
Two-piece.
Gonzo wasn't trying to be funny.
No,
It's
the truth though.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's some
Gonzo,
chicken mild right there.
are you going to be good for Monday night?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
What
we
time?
won't go long. After the Philly game, we'll go on after the Philly and Miami game again.
Yeah, they play.
Because that's the.
So they should be over by 10:30, 11.
Yeah, well, that'll be earlier our time because we're Central.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And I want to do Philadelphia as a team I'm picking because because me being the captain of the USS Philadelphia 76.
Hey, now I will say you had to jump off the New York bandwagon and the Minnesota Timberwolves bandwagon to jump on the Philly bandwagon.
No, but see, I was on the bandwagon before all this nonsense though over the summer. So it was before.
I'll give you that. But
I didn't just jump on when they, because I could have easily bailed when they lost like 9 out of 10 games and we're like, what?
Yeah, I'll give
4 games below 500. I stayed right there. I didn't.
That.
They're too talented. So I think that's going to wrap us up. Everybody, we'll get all kinds of stories for y'all next time. So I think that'll be Monday night after Philadelphia and Miami. So game will end. So we'll go. Go ahead, Pete.
And I was going to say real quick for everybody, just to throughout there, everybody make sure you're supporting Matt as well. For those that don't already watch the Sim Hangout, he's on there pretty much every week. He doesn't talk as much as he does on here.
I did. Well, but yeah, that's fair though. I play my role.
Right. But all in good fun with the panel. Like it's a great panel, good content and stuff. So everybody's supporting him there as well. So.
Hey, when it's a lot of NBA, hey, I got in some things yesterday. I got in on some stuff yesterday.
I popped in for a minute because my son was still up, so I didn't get a chance to check the replay out. Usually I watch them.
I went on the YouTube chat for last night's hangout, and some dude was like, "Please tell Matt to jump off the Sixers bandwagon."
Oh man,
I had to comment.
Were you the only one that picked the Sixers to make the finals?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, yeah. They pretty much laughed at me. Laughed at me. I'm okay, but hey, you know what? Hey, when I picked them to finish third in the East, you, James, and Brady all laughed at me.
Yeah, we did. So.
Hey, y'all thought I was on drugs.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's true. Hey, I'm sticking with it though. This one I'm sticking with. I'm confident in this one. But I think that's a perfect way to close us out. And we will definitely be back Monday. Let's see. Game is what is it? Is it 8 Eastern?
It's 8 Eastern. So should be.
So yeah, 11 Eastern. We'll probably jump on around that time.
Right.
If the game ends early, we'll be on a little early because sometimes maybe it goes instead of 2.5, maybe it goes 2 hours and 20 minutes. We'll see. Real quick because Mike hasn't been on with us in a while. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you at, on social media, so they can follow you.
You can find me on all. You can find me on all social media at Mike Skills, MIC Skills, one word, all everywhere. It's all the same. So, yeah, I pop up every now and then, say a couple things, and I go back, sit down in the back of the class. I'm a quiet observer.
Mike wants to make he's got to make those cameos. That's right. Just like tonight, I didn't expect this. I honestly didn't expect this, but I got the phone call, so I had to bring Mike on tonight. But that's gonna wrap us up.
I was watching the game at a sports bar, everyone was going nuts. I'm like, I gotta call man.
Everybody's like, hey, because we had a nice little Everybody's starting to come towards my way of thinking. I like it. Even the 76ers fan Pete is coming towards my way of thinking. I like it. I'm even converting Sixers fans to come to the Sixers fan. I like it. But that's going to wrap.
The Sim Network. Matt Miller.
That's right.
That's right.
Hey, ESPN, come find us. Come find us. We'll come on. We'll talk. But that's going to wrap us up for tonight. So I just want to let everybody know we'll be back Monday night after the Sixers game. But until then, keep rooting for the Philadelphia 76ers, and we will see you all on Monday.